program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu Cha Jamii. I'm your host Eunice Mugo. Today on the show we are talking about struggles in families and also faith. What do you thrive in? What do you thrive for in marriage? What are you looking for in those hardships, in those strengths that you're building when it comes to marriage? Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. I'm not alone. I have a guest with me who is going to help us to understand better about this topic today. I will allow him to introduce himself. Welcome.
Thank you, Eunice. My name is Reverend Devin Jero. I'm born again. I'm blessed of the Lord. I am a pastor, and apart from being a pastor, I'm married to one female wife, and God has blessed us with the fruit of marriage. And we thank God for, I've been married now for the last 20 years, only 20 years. And we thank God. Apart from being a pastor, a family man, I also do writing. I'm an author of quite a number of books. Celebrated books, and we'll be talking probably quite a number of them as we proceed. And I also do a lot of leadership training and coaching. But for now, we may put a full stop there. And I'm on Facebook, Devin Jero Pastor. You can get me there, and some other social media handles. Asante.
Welcome to the set, Pastor Devin Jero.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Awesome.
Today we're talking about strong families, a strong faith, and also thriving through the challenges in the current generation that we are in, of where people are hearing marriage and they run the other way. God are the days where you like look forward to or anticipating to. Right now you talk, you even see reels on social medias and they're like, marriage, education. No one wants to go in the side of marriage. Very few people will go to that direction. You will also hear the fact of people asking question, this man or this one. People will just be dashing. Very few people are remaining to like even anticipate and look forward to marriage. So my first question today would be from our topic, strong families, strong faith, and also what you thrive in this challenging time. You said you've been married only for 20 years. So
yes.
What comes first into your mind when you hear about our topic today?
Well, number one is why are you married? Or why would somebody want to get married? Because that is the underlying foundation of marriage. You know, when you hear about somebody's running away from marriage and maybe about the days of old, you know, the days are still the same, because Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. And also if you know, because now we're talking about faith, you know, in the beginning, God created the human being, that is mankind, in his own likeness and in his own image. And he created them male and female in them. And the female was removed from the male. And then there was a mandate that God gave them. Go forward, have dominion, be fruitful, and dominate. So if you're missing in that particular aspect, then there is something missing there. And because these are choices that we make in life. We make choices in life. So even before somebody enters into the marriage, the right question to ask, it is not what am I going to get into the marriage, but what am I contributing to the thriving of this relationship. And we normally say that in marriage, don't just get married to anyone, but get married to your friend. First of all, you have to be a friend before you get into the marriage relationship. But some people just attracted by maybe the color, the shape. And you know the shape will definitely, of course, will at one time it will definitely change. I wouldn't say that it will completely disappear. It will change. But then the question is, would you want? Because if you want really to see the kind of a woman that you'll have, you know, in the next maybe 30 or 40 years, you know, just look at the grandmother, and then ask yourself, will I still love this person? Because if you're married with a shape, then it'll just last for 2 years, and that's all.
I refuse to agree on that. I'll work on my body, That is what we'll console ourselves with.
Oh, yeah.
But moving on,
Yeah.
as much as you're talking about strong families, now
Yeah.
we're also talking about strong faith.
Yes.
Being a man of faith,
Yeah.
being a pastor, being a husband, like you mentioned, I'd want to refer so much in the number of years that you've just mentioned. Married only for 20 years
Yes,
to
only.
one woman.
Yeah.
How is it? How much has faith contributed into your family and your marriage life?
I would say that faith is the foundation.
Okay.
Because even before I got married, yes, I got born again when I was a young boy. When I say a young boy, in my late, okay, let's say not so young. Of course, I had faith because even my own mother was someone of faith, but she did not put so much emphasis that we have to grow in this. But you see, whereby you are married, you are born in a family confessing faith. But then when I knew who I am, then now I pursued. I wanted to know what exactly what faith is, and I got really grounded. And then from there, I did quite a number of courses to make me strong in faith, discipleship. And that even when I was still a young man, I could still organize some missions to go to our own families, our own homes where we came from, so that we can be able also to instill this faith. And we also see this in the in the life of Timothy, whereby the grandmother, the mother, there was that lineage. But basically, looking at now my own example. Faith is very important because the scripture tells us that man shall not live alone. And that is when God says that he'll create him a helper, meet necessary for him. So when a man gets married, then he is getting married to somebody who will help him contribute and also bring out the vision and the purpose that God created him for. So number one, a man must have a vision so that the woman comes and builds towards that. And there is no other better way than to understand the marriage from God's perspective. And secondly, because faith is important, because when you know what God wants us to do, or maybe to achieve, it becomes very easy. As I had said earlier, God gave a mandate to the marriage institution. Go forward, be fruitful, fill the world, have dominion. And having that dominion is actually saying, I want to bring up children who can also be like me and who can also be able to relate with God himself. Because there is a creator. There is now nobody just came just like this. God created us, and we created us with a purpose. And that purpose is also to be co-creators. That is why in some other circles, we hear that men or women, those who are especially in the creatives, they are called creators. So they are creating something. And so faith is important because that is where now the foundation of human being is. And if you miss there, then it means you are living out of the sound foundation. Yeah.
Interesting listening to you. You mentioned that when you're marrying or when you're getting married, you should marry your best friend.
Yes.
How now do you sit down and analyze and see this person is fit to? I understand that for men it's very different. We have many teachers and scholars when it comes to marriage. Everyone has something to say about marriage, relationship, and everything. You're also told to write down what you want. You're compromised, then uncompromised, and everything, and so forth and so on. From a man perspective, what I've had is a man can be able to tell once they have spent even 5 minutes of their time with a certain lady, knowing is this woman for keep? Is this woman for use? Is this woman for fun? Is this... What makes it a large number of people saying that it's easy for a man to tell than it is for a woman? And when you have decided or when you have seen that this woman is not for me for marriage, but can fit leisure, why waste time manipulating and telling lies instead of just being straight? I'd want really to understand that if God has given you the ability as men as a whole, why waste time?
I would want to probably start by giving an analogy. Men are hunters.
It doesn't make sense. Hold them there.
Okay.
You are hunters. You've already found something that you are hunting for. Are you just hunting for fun?
No, not necessarily. I just wanted to start from afar off.
Okay.
Because men reason. Men are the kind of people who reason. And because even the scripture says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So in the finding is in the hunting. And then, because it is very unfortunate that quite some men, they don't understand what they want. They don't want what kind of meat they want.
Ouch.
And because now in the wilderness, because I said it's an analogy, in the wilderness there are quite a number of species. There's a gazelle. Wow, there is
A zebra.
well, a zebra may not be eaten, but basically there are quite a number of varieties.
Okay.
And now, because also men are also moved by what they see, all right? They are visual.
Okay.
But women, they are emotional, all right? Now, well, sometimes you may see something and then you are attracted. But then you need to ask yourself, this attraction, will it last? Or it is for lust, L-U-S-T? Or is it for lust, as in L-A-S-T? Because this is a journey that you are starting. And you didn't want to just do and hit and run if you really respect yourself. Because real men don't just hunt for maybe 1 day, 2 days for leisure, and that's all. No, that is for males, not for men.
Oh.
Males, they just want to have leisure, pleasure, and that's it. They don't want to take responsibilities. But real men take responsibilities. They actually, try and beautify their women. And, of course, present them as a queen of the house, not just a catwalk species. Because all these things are temporal. And, of course, when we start something major, it is a project. It's something long run. So, well, you can be attracted for something for a few minutes, but then what is the underlying factor? What exactly do you want about this? And you see there are quite a number of ladies who have been broken by males, but not men. Because males, they want just pleasure. But men, they want a relationship, and they want to remain somebody who is sound, who is responsible.
I agree.
Thank you.
I'm still yet to understand the difference between male and men.
Yes.
Then you said a man builds a woman to present her as the queen and not a working mate. Or what did you say?
I said it's not a catwalk.
Oh, a catwalk.
Something to just for a show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, you as a man have already seen. You said men are visualizing.
Yes, they are visual.
Right? As you visualed, you've seen this is a catwalk, this is not a queen. But you still want to keep. And you've seen this is a queen and not a catwalk, and you still want to keep.
Okay.
What is making you hold on to these two instead of just making a solid decision of dropping the catwalk and continue empowering the queen?
The problem is what I would call identity crisis. Because if you are not sure, if I am not sure what I want, it will be a very difficult thing to do.
What brings the uncertainty?
It is because now of the many choices that are available in the world. And because I am David, and I maybe just go back a little bit, I only dated one person in my own life. I never dated two. I only asked one person to get married to me because I knew what I want. But there are also some people, or maybe at that time they were youth, I would see that they are running from this one, from this one, from this one. And actually, up to now, I can count like 3 who are my age mates, who we grew together. They are not together. Why? Because they ran. They went beyond. They went fast because they thought that they are in competition. But you see, a man is not in competition with anybody else. He only wants to be competent with the decisions that he makes. The reason why we have this now, he is keeping this, it is kind of a trial and error. He doesn't exactly know what he wants. Like this morning, I had breakfast. I knew what I took for breakfast. It's not yet lunch time this time, but there's a choice. When you go to a hotel, there's a menu you choose. And once you make an order, you don't change twice or three times. It is because you knew this is what I want. So that's why I'm saying men, they are very sober. They are very sober when they are making their decision, especially in the marriage space. And the males, because now they are attracted by everything, and they want to try this, they want to try this, they want to try this. No. In fact, there is even a saying, of course it's not a Christian saying, the beautiful ones are not yet born. And again, and also there is also another fallacy that you can say, oh, this is the most beautiful, wife in the whole world, the most beautiful girl. It is a lie. It is not the most beautiful.
No, they say lies, beauty lies in the
beholder. That is, now the world is only your own world. If you travel out of the city of Nairobi, you'll see some things. You'll see people, and you'll see some ladies whereby God took some time to create them.
Ah, really?
Of course, I'm not saying that outside there they are better, but what I'm saying is that every time when you venture out of your own sphere, you will see another attraction. But you have to have a very strong conviction of saying no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that one is interesting because I'm still fascinated with the fact of God took time to create.
Yes.
But this is an analogy that helps you maintain your
perspective and soberness.
Yes.
And of course, when you talk about creation, actually it is man who was created. It is only man who was created, but the woman was now removed from what God has already created. Of course, when we talk about creation, it is looking at the beauty, the features, and just enjoying the creation of God. When I talk about creation, it's general the humankind. But when you talk about specifically now about a woman, she was actually taken out of man, and that is why a woman complements a man. So one of the reasons why we have quite a number of problems now with marriage, it is because we have some men, okay, yes, they are men, they know what they want, but then they are not really focused onto what they want to have in life. So they have some divided attentions in their pursuit of life goals. And I normally say that if you do not know where you are going, any way will take you there. The indecisiveness is what also brings a lot of problems in the marriages. Because when a man is supposed to lead and then he's not taking the lead, and maybe the wife who is quite maybe outgoing again, and she's feeling that she's being dragged. She wants to take the steering instead of being the co-driver. So she feels, my potential is wasted. It's like what I'm supposed to bring in here, it is not appreciated. And we have quite a number of issues. Recently, I was having a conversation with a family, and this family, of course, the man is kind of a person who does not believe that the woman must bring something to the table. And he believes is a community that believes that women are second class, they're to be used. And when I had this conversation from this lady, and we had a conversation, said I ran a program called School of Excellence, and the School of Excellence brings out the best out of you to know your purpose, and then how you can run that purpose, and also when you're out of this world, you can leave a purpose, you can leave a legacy. So she was one of our students, and so she said, she gave an analogy of what is happening in her own circle. Then I said, no, you see, you are unique, you are different, you are one of a kind. As much as you are a wife to so and so, you also have your own identity. You also have something to contribute towards this growth of this family. Then I said, why don't you have a honest conversation? Sit down, even over a cup of tea, you know, somewhere out, go out of a meal, and then discuss these things openly. And when they heard that, the man really appreciated the openness of this woman. Then the man asked the lady, where have you got to know this? Then he said, you know, there are some things I have to think now and also see how we can go together. And then after that, the man told the woman, now the wife, please do what you can so that we can grow together. And of course, now the woman went to the business, she's employed, went to the business and started now getting some plots. And the man said, wow, so I have been pressurizing and putting some potential down. So there is also that aspect of appreciation, appreciating the person that you're with together in the same house.
I want us to take a break, and when we come back to the appreciating part of it. And also realizing that the fact you said, the man realized that he has been oppressing the woman and putting the value and not appreciating the woman, right? But as you are saying that, you also realize that some don't like, there's some who are welcoming the thought like the woman did, and some will like bash the wife, and also bring disputes, because that is what you are having. You are being told that the current women nowadays are very enlightened. So we'll come back to that, and then I have another question.
All right, thank you so much.
Viewers, I hope you're learning as much as I am. Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome to Fun Art Class. Today we are going to make a sailboat. First, you fold a triangle, a half. Friends, today we made a sailboat.
A student can transition from other curriculums such as the Kenyan CBC curriculum, the Pearson EdExcel curriculum, and the IB curriculum to the Cambridge curriculum.
Our riddle for the day, guys. I am easy to lift but hard to throw. What am I?
I've been a sculptor for many years now. It's about 44 years since I started doing as professional state artist.
For 44 years, that's almost half a century. But now, where did it start? Before the 44 years, where did it start?
But for me, I use art to document culture and speak more about human life and activities through art, because I regard art as visual literature.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu Cha Jamii. Today we're talking about strong families and strong faith, and you're also looking into thriving together in the changing world. How are you thriving together as a couple in your family? Send in your question, your comments, give us tips on how you're doing it across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So, Pastor Jerry, before
Yes.
we took a break, we were talking about appreciating.
Yes, appreciating.
And we realize and we say thank you to the men who appreciate their women. And we also, women like to be appreciated. That's a fact. Goes unquestioned, right?
Yeah.
But again, you realize there are men who don't like women who are eloquent and know exactly what they want. There are those who do appreciate. And actually, they'll be looking for such kind of a woman. Because you were told every woman is a wife material. It depends with which material you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right? Also for a man, every man is a husband material. It only depends which kind of a material are you looking for.
Yeah.
Because depending with the materials, the cheaper the quality, the access is easy, the harder the, you know, how the analogy goes. Now, when it comes to appreciation, what makes a man to be open towards the idea of a woman talking? Like, what is that? Would I say a checkbox, or what is it that triggers a man to appreciate the fact that the different characters or temperaments of a personality, like getting to understand my wife is maybe an outgoing person who likes doing 1, 2, 3, is a leader, is a you know, the different kinds, and getting to understand maybe where I'm coming from. We don't value this, but you have now to value it because of your woman.
I would start by saying that the greatest culture that we can create is the culture that we are creating, both of us. That is, I being the husband and my wife. Regardless of where we are coming from, because this is our marriage. It is not their marriage. And that is also why the scripture tells us that when a man is getting married and the woman is getting married, they leave their homes and the two shall become one. So in other words, there is something we are building. We are building a certain culture, our own culture. And then again, when you talk about now the women not being appreciated, because this is, when I know this is my wife and this is my husband, then we have to work it out. And that is the greatest challenge that we have. Secondly, when you talk about, you know, this is your wife, and you know that your wife is complementing what you are doing as a husband, then we are walking towards a certain direction. Let me give you just a very, very simple example. Yesterday, after service, we went to visit a certain bishop, and my wife was dressed very elaborate, very shiny dress. And for me, I had a broken suit. So when I was called to introduce her, I said, "This is my wife, please say hello to the congregation." She did. And then when I took the mic, I said, "That's my wife, and when you see me, wherever I'm dressed, wherever I am, whatever I am, it is her work. She does a lot of work, you know, behind the scenes." That is a public appreciation. Then I also said, I also have a dress like hers. It's only that I dressed before her. Maybe I could have dressed like her. So basically what we are saying here, we need to look at opportunities to appreciate each other, either publicly or privately. Now, the aspect of man appreciating maybe the ideas that the woman brings, then the thing is, whatever she is bringing, it is for the good of this family. It is for the good. And then the other thing is, if you value what she is bringing on the table, then you say, she is mine. So even if she brings a winning idea, at the end of the day, it will be said, it is so and so who did it. Because it is Mr. and Mrs., not Mrs. and Mr. All right? So as much as there is a contribution of the Mrs., it is this family. And that is what some families don't see, because this is us. It is not like the others. So it is us moving towards a certain direction. And just the same way that you can, some men appreciate their women differently. Last time we mentioned about the 5 love languages. You need to understand, what does your woman appreciate? What does your man appreciate? Is it the words of affirmation? Is it giftings? Is it a touch? If it is a touch, let the touch continue.
The 5 love languages, I came to understand that even when it comes to psychology,
Yeah.
you are not one kind.
Yeah.
You might be introvert, but
Yes.
you also have some extrovert
Exactly.
in it, and the ambivert and the whatever vert
Yeah.
in you. You have all of them.
Yes, yes.
But it only speaks out with the percentage. So
Correct.
you're more of an introvert compared to the temperaments that you have than an extrovert.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you're not a social being. So goes to the 5 love languages.
Yes.
I might be appreciating gifting, but it's not only gifting that turns me on. There is also the other 5 or the
Yes.
4 remaining. So they all 5 complement each other given the opportunity of presentation at that given time.
Yes, and also mentioning about the love languages, one of the greatest appreciation of anyone in a family setup is actually the gift of time. Because we may be chasing other goals out there, but then if I am not there for my wife, if my wife is not there for me, if I'm not there for my children, there are things that I'm an absent dad. They may appreciate this, yes, what I am bringing on the table, but then they need that fellowship. They need to see how playful I am. Sometimes they make jokes and I'm just there and I'm just enjoying. And because now we also need to see how they are growing and also move together in one direction. And that makes it more interesting, because now when you marry your friend, you'll know the differences. And when you know the differences, I will not measure on the difference or the negative. I'll measure on what complements one another. So I compliment. If you like laughing, or if my wife likes laughing, and maybe I don't like so much laughing, I just want a smile, then doesn't mean that I will not allow her to do that. Yeah, let her do the laughing, and then let her also give me a space to smile, so that we are complementing one another and we are not competing. It is not a competition. It is a compliment.
Thank you. It's not a competition, it's a compliment.
Yeah.
You said something that I've repeated the second time. Marrying your friend.
Yes.
I was telling you about this before we came back on air, about marrying your friend. If you get married to your friend, it means before this person becomes your friend, for sure, unless you guys have grown together, in most of the cases when it comes to dating life and marriage, you guys either knew each other from school, from your work, you met somewhere, you were strangers at first, then developed the friendship part that leads to dating and also relationship, depending with at what stage of life you guys met. If you met at working stage, it's work relations that brought you together, and you saw that this person is fit to be your wife. But right now, where we are with the changing times, like I mentioned, during our great-grandparents' time, it's their family that used to go and check. This wife could be a good daughter-in-law to us as a family, and also to a good wife to our son. Then they will initiate the conversation and going to propose to that lady and seek their hand in marriage and be brought here. It's like an arranged marriage,
Yes, yeah.
right, so to speak. And then growing, times changing, it's changed, and we no longer appreciated the matchmaking. In some communities, it's still there, but not everyone is appreciating it in as much as it is in those communities. Right now, we are saying we want to marry our friends, someone that have grown to know, spent time to relate with them. And but now, in this era that we are in, it's like we are going back to the old age. And you realize, some people would say that is a wasted time, because you realize you've like invested 7, 10, name the years, looking out to this one specific individual, hoping to have a future. And then by the end of the day, unaacho kwa mata.
Well, they're talking about Kwechukamata and also the matchmaking and maybe the parents looking for a spouse for their either girl or boy. Well, I would say that there are quite a number of factors that influence that. But what we are also saying again, as much as time is changing, we wouldn't want to be, caged in one direction. Whereby we say this is what was happening, so it can also happen again. And we're also saying, we have also seen during this time, the 21st century, we have seen a lot of youngsters. They are so much into their gadgets, they are so much into social media, and their social skills is almost below average. Or even the CBC, we can say. They are not even meeting expectations. But what we are saying that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I know quite a number of people. I even know of a pastor who is married out of this country, and it was an arranged marriage. And she says that I didn't really believe in this. But once they got married, well, she said, well, God was in this. Well, I don't really know the factors that led to the parents arranging a marriage for their daughter and getting married out of the country. But after getting married, they're doing very well. But again, what we are saying is you may not have met in a working relationship or maybe in school, but what we are saying is if there is an interest in so-and-so, if somebody is interested with Eunice will, that person will go now check your background, your bio, maybe in the social media, maybe here, just maybe can be coming to see what you normally do. In other words, have some little background information of the person that you want to get married to. Well, God can orchestrate an occasion. Maybe you're out there in a picnic, and then maybe you are paired up together in a team, whereby you are doing a team building, and then you are part of the team. Then you say, this person is very outgoing. This person is a leader. He is well organized. Then you say, excuse me, do you mind if I can probably call you next week? And of course, you don't even have the number. Of course, call. You say, okay, how are you going to call? Then you say, okay, these are my digits. And then you say, then something starts there. So in other words, before you know someone, before it becomes a friend, there's a journey that you have walked together. And of course, there's an interest. And it is very important, even for us, to appreciate the value of being truthful. Because if I'm not interested with you, I will have to get some language, tell you, okay, we have dated, I have seen you 3 times, but unfortunately, we can't move ahead. And I am sorry, it's not working. It can't
Tuongee reality kwa ground.
Yeah. Sio kuacha tu mtu kama taa.
In a scale of 1 to 10,
yes.
How many men can come out and say that?
I do not know about that. Because
no, you've done your research.
Well, not about the 1 to 10. The research I was doing is about writing my book, which is here. The naked truth about sex. But because most of the males out there, they date a girl because of what they want to get, the pleasure for a minute. But of course, once you get married, and then the pleasure, you have it all the time. You have that person living with you for many, many, many years. But of course, that's why we're saying we need to have truthful men, truthful ladies. We'll say, well, I'm getting married to you. Regardless of what you have, let us build this relationship together. But we see now, for now, most of the people, even most of the youngsters that I've talked to, because I also do youth mentorship, most of them, especially the female gender, they just, if they give you a list of what they want in a man, then you wonder, are we still in this world? Because they want something which is already ready-made. And then also the man, you also need to ask yourself, where did the man also get all this? Maybe getting a car, maybe they have a house, they have a stable job and all that. When we got married during our time, my wife was working. I was not working that time. I was just doing what we call not really work. Not a job, but I was doing some work. Sometimes I'm working 1 week, the other week I'm not there. It wasn't stable. But my wife had a job, paid job. And then when we started our relationship, I said, you know me, and you know who I am. So this is who I am. So when you get married to this person, or if you are getting married to this person, we have to work. our marriage together. We have to really bring things together and see our success. And now, 20 years, we have really done that every single day. Just reminding ourselves that we are in this together. It is not a matter of going somewhere where it's already, everything is ready-made. It's a buffet. Yours is just to feed on the buffet. Now, where did the meal come from? Who prepared the meal? You know, it is a cost involved.
Well said. I want us to take a break. And when we come back, maybe touch a little about the naked truth about sex.
Yeah.
Because you realize in the relationship or in the area that you are in, you said most of the males date because of the pleasure that they'll get,
Correct.
all the satisfaction they'll get at a short span. So what is the impact or the implications of sex in a relationship? I'd want to understand that and maybe dive a little bit deeper into it. Viewer, I hope you're learning as much as I am. Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.
We are going to go straight to the topic of the day, which is AI in education. AI in education.
AI is called artificial intelligence. I think this is something the computer techs designed to make our life easier.
If you just write everything that's on ChatGPT, when you're going to your work or whatever you want to do, your interview, you're going to feel miserable.
We are going to use AI to show out your creativity, then that's not really you who did it, but like there's AI and there's you combined together.
AI should be just there to maybe enhance your points, but not just to generate for you the answers.
I think it's like 50-50 because sometimes it's like, yeah, you're just using it to like enhance like your creativity, and then other times it's like you're just stealing other people's ideas. You're not like really thinking.
Everywhere GBS.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu Cha Jamii. Today we are talking about strong families and strong faith. We are looking in thriving together in changing times. What are you guys thriving together in? Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So, Mr. Njeru,
Yes.
at Chungu, we pride ourselves to enlightening and educating and curbing issues affecting the society.
Right.
And today, the issues affecting the society is marriage. Hence, bringing us to our last segment of this discussion today.
Yes.
And I wanted us to look about what you've written about the naked truth about sex.
Yes.
Sex is one of the fundamental things that either breaks or builds a relationship, so to speak. It's not, I wouldn't say it is a pillar per se, but in the generation or in the era that we are in, it's something that is being brought out so boldly. Growing up, being married as a virgin was one of the most priceless gifts you could ever gift your partner. Not being indulged in sexual activities, but just being pure. But again, in the era that we are in, even finding a virgin right now, it's very difficult unless that person is, sorry to say, maybe less than 15 years, because we are having even young girls and boys indulging into sex at an early age, not because of relationship, but because of just wanting to explore and how their bodies are changing and growing. So having said that, there is one person who likes telling me every time that they go to the preteen counseling, unasikia wakisema vagoni ya mafala. So that is not something you'd really pride yourself into unless you know your value, your worth, and what you bring in as a woman of integrity or as a man of integrity. Having said that, sex is one of the things that is being, I would say is not rightly placed in the puzzle of marriage. It's kind of misplaced, where if you move it this way, you mess the whole puzzle. If you move it the other way, it also, like, it's not bringing, like when you're doing the rabbit, it's not giving you a complete math. So what is the pattern at what, in this puzzle, where does sex, where is it supposed to be placed to have a complete puzzle?
Well, I would also first vote to say that, or just to correct that vajos are not phallas, because that's a fallacy again, because out there is a lot of information, there is a lot of talk, because it doesn't mean that if I don't take tea with sugar, doesn't mean that I'm not taking tea.
True.
All right. So now the aspect of sex is so much glorified outside the world there. There's a lot of glorification. And when you talk about now sex in the Christian perspective, of course, sex is only reserved up to the time when you are getting married. And we also see a very good example of Mary and Joseph. You know, Mary was found pregnant by the Holy Spirit, and Joseph was wondering now, what really happened? And even Joseph actually wanted to leave her because that was the culture, that was the norm. But also when we come into this world, now the world we have now today, everything is about sex. Even the songs that you listen out there or we hear out there, you know, of course that's not Christian songs. Everything's revolving about sex there. But we see now sex is not something that can give you nutrients to remain healthy. So you can do without it. And one of the chapters actually in this book, The Naked Truth About Sex, I've actually written there, what if I don't sex around? And there is a lot of myths about sex. And in fact, one of the points that is a very strong point here is that somebody says, what if I don't sex around? And one of the myths is, if you don't sex around, then your genitals will merge together and it will all together disappear. And you see now, this is a talk that is actually pushing somebody to that kind of a game, which is not healthy at all. And so promiscuity, it is glorified as the right. And actually, if somebody is not in it, it is said that you are out of it. But there is a joy of remaining pure, because the scripture tells us that our bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit. You didn't really want to destroy that. I have even met quite a number of people out there who are virgins. In my work as a pastor, in my work as a counselor, I've met quite a number of them, and I even know some of them who have gone public and saying, I pride myself in this. There is joy in that. So basically what we are saying today, there is a place of sex in the society, in the marriage place. And when you get married, then that is one of the highest forms of coming together. And of course, now for somebody who has been sexing around, you know, sexing is a word that I've just I've coined, sexing. You might not find it in the dictionary, but it means that what if you just go around sleeping with everybody out there? You see, the moment you sleep with someone, you leave part of yourself with that person. Kind of a personality. So if you have slept with 1,000, like Solomon.
Is that a fact or a myth or a fallacy? I've had it more than one time before. And now hearing it from you at this time of this conversation begs me to ask, is it something that is proven?
It is proven because now you exchange some juices. You know, when you have sex, you exchange some juices. And you know, there is a part of you that leaves you, and there's a part of the other person that leaves. Now, if you can do some research, you'll find out that some people, they got married maybe when they're young, and as they grow together, they look almost the same. All right. So then you ask yourself, what happened? Because this is a person who left their families, and this one left their families. Then how come they're now looking almost together? They're resembling one another. It is because now there's quite a number of exchange, and then the genes now start mingling, and then also the children also look like you. Then you wonder, now this child is looking like the mother, this child is looking like the father. It is because there was an exchange. So having said that, sex is the highest form of coming together, because it is like saying, I'm giving myself wholly unto you. And now imagine now somebody giving himself or herself wholly to someone whom he doesn't love. And then when it comes to leaving this place, somebody is left in pieces and not in peace. So that is why divorce, it is normally very devastating. That is why even in our premarital counseling, we normally ask many times, are you really set for the marriage? Have you really made a decision that you want to get married to this man? Even during the wedding day, even before we exchange the rings, we ask, do you have any reason why you don't want to get married to this person? And then again, I would also urge so much, them that are getting married nowadays, please take some time and get some pre-marital counseling. Like for me, before I wed someone, I have to go take them through a counseling session. We normally do about 12 of them in various aspects, including sex. How do you prepare somebody for sex? Not just jump like a swimming pool. No.
That's an interesting bit there.
Yes. Yeah.
You just don't jump in like...
Yeah.
All right, moving on as we wind up. The diversity that there is.
Yeah.
We understand that we are different people. We are diverse people. Given where we have grown, the family we've been brought up in. Now, coming together, how now do we balance the diversity that we do have, for us to, for the couples to be brought into the same page and agree on the same things?
Well, marriages work, as I said from the beginning, and every time look for opportunities, for you to be together, and also enrichment forums, marriage enrichment forums. A few days ago, I was invited to, just to do some team building to some pastors and their spouses, and you can imagine some of the questions that were coming there. Some of them, that was the very first time they went out. And these are men and women who have been married for over 20 years, 30 years, and others probably, the youngest maybe 10 years. And what we are saying is, let us be intentional, building what we have. Of course, all of us are different. We have been called by God to do different things. We have been created, to fill a certain gap. But then I need to understand what makes me tick, what makes me thrive, what makes you thrive. And then we also look to some opportunities whereby we can be able to build ourselves and also engage others of like minds. Let us also exchange notes. Let's hear the stories of other people. I had another very funny story that a man says that mimi kazi yangu nikiwa nyumbani, or my work when I'm at home, even if tea is boiling, I cannot take it off the gas because that is the work of a woman. Then I said, well, come to think of it, what would happen if you remove the tea from the gas and serve your wife, if she's really your wife, if you love her? And then she says, okay. Then he says, najua hiyo ni kazi ya akina dada, but not exactly that, because we are complementing one another. And what she can do and I can do, why can't I not do it? Because men also have their own ego, but then this ego has to come down, because some other times you find that because to bring even a lady who was living independently and now she has come in your house, it's not really putting her into a box, but that is a lot of work that you did, even to convict, not to convince, to convict that lady to come in. So when she comes in there now, into the house, let her not be just someone just in the house. No. Let's work it out together. And some other times, let's divide even some house chores. All right. Say you prepare the vegetables, and then I do the ugali.
They say if we split the chores, we also split the bills.
Well, so long as there is an understanding of both, without forcing one another, that's okay.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm being told we're running out of time. Maybe you can give us your parting shot.
Well, my parting shot is, as the time changes, let us also see what works for us too. Let us not do a lot of comparisons with out there. Because like if you compare the divorce rate in US, it's very high. Very, very high. The Western countries is very high. But then we say that marriage does not work because we have just done some research and seen the divorce in these other countries this much. Then even in those countries whereby the divorce is very high, there are also some thriving families. So what I would say is work out your own marriage. Thank you.
Work out your own marriage. As you continue to work in your marriage and putting on together the good work that you are doing to see it thrive in the changing times that you are in. Let's continue this conversation offline across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. Tomorrow we'll have a part 2 of the same, so come prepared, take some notes, and let's continue. Till next time, have a nice time. Goodbye.
Wow, bye. Thank you. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Everywhere, GBS.